Anthony Joshua won. Anthony killed this man. Listen, a lot of questions, blah blah blah. Only one my answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. Yeah. First. Yeah. Jack Paul is sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, yeah.
It's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him. Knows how to keep that stick in your face. He will keep that jab in his face, and that right hand, if it hits you, you're fucked.
Where in my mind, I can see Jake Paul getting an upset or beating Anthony Joshua. It's a whole different ball game. This guy is a heavyweight. He's an Olympian. He's a world champion. He's all these different things.
Boxing professionals are increasingly warning Jake Paul about the danger posed by Anthony Joshua, especially with AJ reportedly looking at his sharpest and most powerful in training camp. Analysts point to Joshua's overwhelming size, speed, and proven knockout power as factors that make him an extremely serious threat. They caution that even a small mistake could have severe consequences. While Jake Paul's dedication and improvement in the gym are acknowledged, experts agree he is entering an entirely different tier of competition. Former trainer Shane Mosley reinforces this view, stating he struggles to envision Jake competing on this level and believes simply surviving the fight will be Jake's biggest challenge.
Chance that you see of Jake potentially pulling this off? Can he get the upset? And what would it take?
There's no way in my mind I can see Jake Paul getting an upset or beating Anthony Joshua. It's a whole different ball game. This guy is a heavyweight. He's an Olympian. He's a world champion. He's all these different things. And Jake Paul is moving up to heavyweight. And they say Anthony Joshua's chinny, but he's chinny with people that are real heavyweights that punch hard, not with cruiserweights or the heavyweights. So, with that being said, I mean, if Nate Diaz could take Jake Paul's punch at their particular weight, then you don't think Anthony Joshua did take Jake Paul's punch at that weight? I don't understand. I just can't see it. I think that it's a great publicity stunt, I guess, whatever. But I can't see Jake beating Anthony Joshua. I just can't see it.
You're not training with him for this fight, right?
No, I'm not training for the first fight. If I was,
there we go. What would you tell him?
If I was training with him,
what kind of game plan, right?
I wouldn't even know what to tell him.
You'd be at a loss?
I'd be like,
would you take the job? Yes, right?
I mean, I'd take it for him not to get hurt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna, I can't say that I would say I think he's gonna win, but I would try different ways of like maybe trying to move around or get up under him or hold him a certain way. Maybe there's something in there that he sees that he can try to.
Boxing agent Sam Jones has voiced serious concern about Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua, warning that the matchup carries extreme and very real danger. Jones explains that if Joshua lands a clean, full-force punch, the consequences could be devastating, pointing to the raw power AJ has shown against elite heavyweights such as Francis Ngannou. He stresses that Paul must fully respect Joshua's size, strength, speed, and proven knockout ability, because a single lapse or mistake could end the fight instantly. Jones also dismisses any suggestion that such a bout could be manipulated or fixed, insisting that under legitimate conditions there is nowhere to hide. If Jake Paul were somehow to defeat Joshua fairly, Jones believed it would rank among the greatest upsets in boxing history. His assessment highlights the massive gap in experience, power, and ring IQ between the two fighters.
This could go really wrong if like I say, you want him to come out, no matter what anybody thinks about Jake Paul, you want him to get out of the ring and be safe. But the reality is, if AJ hits him like same way he hit Francis Ngannou, he could brown bread him, Jim.
So some would say it's scripted. Do you go with that?
No, I don't think it is, because I don't think Eddie or AJ would participate if it was scripted. That would affect AJ's legacy. Because, for example, if AJ somehow on this earth manages to get through a few rounds or I mean, if he wins, people are on about, oh, it's a huge no, it's the biggest upset in the history of sport, period. If he beat Anthony Joshua, I don't think you understand it, how one-sided this fight should be. We're talking about a very recent unified heavyweight champion of the world against Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury. That's the reality of what we're looking at here.
You watch it.
I've never denied I'll watch it, because it's like when Simon Cowell used to get excited over magicians trying to climb out of a box. It's the jeopardy involved of trying to climb out the box, because you think, oh my life, what could go wrong here? That's what I'm watching it for the potential. I'm just being honest. I will watch it, but I just think that.
Do you think it's scripted?
I mean, I spoke to Eddie. Eddie thinks he'll get him out there without one big shot, but a cluster of punches will take him out. Because if he does take a big shot, like Ngannou took, he's going to get hurt, but he's going to get hurt anyway. That's the nature of the business. People do get hurt in a boxing ring. The best fighters get hurt. So he's not immune to it. The interesting thing will be is exactly how the conclusion of the fight will be and how it gets sold into the public, because people are going to fly around. I was going to go there and watch it, not because I felt the fight had any meaning, but because I wanted to understand the scale of what's going on with Netflix and what's the scale of something like this that can generate 150 million, because there's only one reason Anthony Joshua's going in there.
Anthony Joshua has been completely locked in throughout his training camp, committing himself solely to preparation for the Jake Paul fight and cutting out all distractions. With a contractual weight limit set at 245 pounds, AJ has slimmed down significantly and is said to look leaner, sharper, and more athletic than he has in recent years, displaying a shredded physique during camp. He has surrounded himself with elite coaches and trusted trainers, treating the bout with total seriousness. Joshua has largely isolated himself to maintain focus, a disciplined mindset shaped by his experience as a former two-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist. His approach makes it clear that everything is geared toward peaking on fight night and delivering his strongest possible performance.
So what am I bringing differently? I wouldn't say a new mindset, but definitely like a new perspective. But ultimately, everything new has to lead to a win. So yeah, that's what I'll focus.
MMA analyst Chael Sonnen has offered a blunt breakdown of the matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, highlighting just how difficult and dangerous the fight is for Jake. Sonnen explains that even if Paul had extra advantages, tricks, or favorable conditions, the sheer physical disparity would still be a massive obstacle. He points out that Jake would struggle simply to reach Joshua's head, given AJ's size, height, and reach. From the beginning, the bout has been framed as a classic David versus Goliath story, pairing a smaller, less experienced Jake Paul against a far bigger, stronger, and vastly more accomplished Anthony Joshua. While that narrative has fueled fan interest and media buzz, Sonnen warns that also masks the serious risks involved. Joshua's natural power, weight, reach, and elite-level experience give him overwhelming advantages that make the challenge extremely dangerous for Jake. Sonnen also criticizes the promoters behind the fight, calling their management and marketing approach misguided. He argues that the build-up leans heavily on spectacle and hype rather than an honest assessment of what will happen in the ring. According to Sonnen, the promotional narrative fails to reflect the reality of the matchup, but a gap in size, skill, and experience makes the contest fundamentally one-sided.
Stepped right in front of this and says there is no way on this earth that Jake Paul is going to knock out Anthony Joshua, because he's right. If they let him get in there with a shovel, he still wouldn't get the shovel to Joshua's head, and if he did, he wouldn't generate enough power to knock him out. All right? There's no way on earth, are the words of a world champion, and he's right. From a man who's half his size and had everyone talking trash on social media, to all of a sudden Jake Paul's the small guy, and he's taking on Joshua, who's towering over him. Now, what Bisping's referencing there is that when Jake Paul was preparing for this very date, for this very event on Netflix, he was getting ready for Tank Davis, where Jake himself had a huge size advantage, admitting that size matters. Just saying that my lack of experience can be balanced by me having 30, 40 pounds on you. Now, all of a sudden, that argument goes away, and that's what Bisping is speaking to. Bisping says he hits harder, referring to Joshua. He's the bigger man, talking about Joshua. He's got the longer reach. He's an Olympic champion. Jake Paul is not going to go out there and turn into a real life David versus Goliath. That ain't happening. Everyone should know it. This fight has been frowned upon not only because of the suggestions that the fight might be fixed, but also from people in the boxing world that look at this fight as a spectacle, a circus, a sideshow attraction. And for those reasons, this is a very dangerous.
Joe Rogan, a respected commentator and former athlete, has issued a serious warning to Jake Paul about the danger posed by Anthony Joshua's knockout power. Rogan notes that while Jake has shared the ring with former champions before, none compare to an Olympic gold medalist and multiple-time world heavyweight champion like Joshua. He emphasizes that AJ's proven power, combined with years of experience competing at the highest level of heavyweight boxing, creates a completely different challenge. Rogan cautions that any underestimation of Joshua could be extremely dangerous, as Jake will be facing not only elite technical ability, but also the devastating force behind Joshua's punches. His assessment underlines the gravity of the matchup and the level of preparation Jake would need to even withstand Joshua's strength on fight night.
With a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight so you could see. Let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Okay, look, Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice, and Andy Ruiz caught him in the first fight and dropped him and stopped him. It was spectacular. Andy Ruiz is super fucking talented. Usyk is perhaps the...
Heavyweight boxer Cassius Chaney offers a more skeptical perspective, questioning whether the fight will actually take place. Chaney suggests that as the event draws closer, several issues remain unresolved, and there's been a noticeable lack of transparency. He points out that the public has yet to see clear proof or full official confirmation, leaving open the possibility that the bout could be canceled even on the day of the event. Chaney's remarks highlight the uncertainty that often surround high-profile matchups, especially when one fighter, like Jake Paul, comes from a non-traditional boxing background. While excitement around the fight continues to build, Chaney cautions that logistical, contractual, and promotional complications could still disrupt or derail the event entirely.
Yeah. Like, no doubt. Like, let's go, like. So I was excited, but to be honest with you, as the fight got closer, I started to feel a little bit like something don't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't feel right. Like, we don't have flights yet. We don't know when we're leaving. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that was kind of bothering me a little bit. And that day, Wednesday, it was Wednesday, I believe. That day we got the call like, yo, they going in a different direction. And, it sucked.
Did you know that different direction was Jake Paul?
No, I didn't. But I wasn't surprised either, you know what I mean? Because, Jake Paul, listen, all these guys, they businessmen.
When I put it into comparison, AJ was going to fight an 8-rounder against Cassius Chaney.
Yeah.
Legendary boxing trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas offers a more balanced take on the matchup by recognizing Jake Paul's dedication and work ethic. Atlas acknowledges that Anthony Joshua's resume as an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight world champion makes him an extremely dangerous opponent. However, he also credits Jake for the serious progress he has made since transitioning from a YouTube personality into boxing. Atlas highlights the discipline, effort, and consistent training Jake has committed to in order to reach this stage. While he admits the odds strongly favor Joshua, Atlas views the fight as a major milestone in Jake Paul's career and a clear reflection of how far he has developed as a legitimate boxer.
Champ, gold medalist in the Olympics, bigger, stronger, professional, top fighter, top amateur, against a guy who's been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and I give credit to Paul. He's worked his backside off to build this promotional machine that he has, to build this dream, to make this vision come to light. Incredible businessman, and incredible what he's done in the ring. He's picked the spots and everything else, but he still faced danger. And he still, took it serious, where he's trained his backside off and where he's improved as a fighter. Does that put him in the class of a top professional fighter who's been doing it his whole life? No, of course not. But does that make you at least examine it? Yes. And when I examine it, I start with a couple things. First of all, Jake Paul is pretty damn smart. He hasn't made too many mistakes. I know it was the Tommy Fury fight. That was close. But
one loss.
There's one loss. But he hasn't made too many damn mistakes. And now, the guy's been a half a genius. And so I look at it and I said, all right, I want to look at everything. Don't look at just he's going to get killed. That's the easy way to look at it. It might be the right way. It might be. But I want to look at what you touched on, now go deeper. It's been 15 months. He hasn't fought, Joshua. Last time he got in the ring, he got destroyed. He got knocked out. That's hard to overcome. There's bats in the belfry. There's ghosts in the attic. That's hard to overcome. That's there.
Another key viewpoint comes from boxing analysts who have addressed concerns surrounding the legitimacy of the matchup. Despite Jake Paul's history of headline-driven events and ongoing speculation about fight manipulation, analysts stress that this bout against Anthony Joshua will adhere strictly to professional boxing standards. Joshua has firmly dismissed any suggestion of a fixed outcome, reinforcing confidence that the contest will be a genuine, regulated fight. Experts emphasize that both competitors will step into ring under official rules, putting rumors of a prearranged result to rest. This clarity helps preserve the sport's credibility and sets proper expectations for fans anticipating a real showdown between a social media-turned boxer and a proven heavyweight champion. That a consistent theme in the analysis is the overwhelming influence of size, strength, and experience. Specialists repeatedly highlight that Anthony Joshua's physical advantages create a major imbalance. His superior weight, reach, and natural power allow him to control distance, dictate pace, and impose his will throughout the fight. This makes it extremely difficult for Jake Paul to land clean, effective shots. Analysts explain that heavyweight boxing demands more than technique alone. It requires the ability to absorb punishment while delivering fight-ending power, regardless of Jake's disciplined training. Facing a larger and stronger opponent introduces serious risk, making defensive awareness, positioning, and mental focus absolutely critical throughout the bout.
Fury loss. If you're Jake Paul, why on earth would you lose to Tommy Fury? Why would you fix losing to Tommy Fury? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only way I possibly could have bought that would be if there'd been some kind of immediate rematch or a trilogy set up through it where they were just trying to generate more revenue because they looked at the scene and went, we don't have enough dance partners. But in reality, it makes no sense for Jake Paul to rig losing a fight. It just doesn't. And you could argue that maybe he rigged other fights after that, but I think there's more than enough evidence to suggest that Jake Paul had enough about him to go in and actually win those fights, which I suppose speaks to the reality of his current level of ability, which is he might actually be a little bit underrated by some people, maybe overrated by many too, because some people think in a real fight with Joshua, he has a fighting chance of knocking Joshua out. But generally speaking, I think that maybe people just don't understand that he's actually got okay at boxing. The only thing you could argue is maybe he's overlooking Jake a little bit. He clearly thinks he's far better and that Jake can't challenge him in any way, shape, or form, which makes you worried about complacency. But even a complacent Anthony Joshua should be able to get it done in there fairly comfortably against Jake Paul. We also have to consider Anthony Joshua's existing wealth. There's boxers who have been far less commercially successful than Anthony Joshua in their careers, and I could kind of understand them maybe being tempted by an offer from Jake Paul to rig a fight and take a load of money. But it just wouldn't make any sense for Anthony Joshua, who's already extremely wealthy. As far as I know, he doesn't have any issues with gambling or any stuff like that. So whilst he doesn't need the money, it's just easy money, which means it makes you sort of think, well, this must be a real fight if it's easy money. Because the only thing that's easy for Anthony Joshua to do is to go in there and win, to go in there and smash the guy in front of him. It wouldn't be easy for him to go in there and somehow let Jake Paul win. That would be a very difficult thing.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.